a motion to accept the minutes of the July 2023.
I move we accept the minutes with one correction, that Brendan Knoll. The list of attendees.
Yes.
Second. Any further comment? Correction. Third call the roll, please.
Joe Atkinson,
Aye.
Angela Hoffman, Ken Castro, Neil Westico,
Aye.
Neil Curran, Tom Street.
Aye, motion carried. No correspondence. No old business. German Church, 116 East Ford Road, report from the town board. The amendment. Is there anybody here from the church? So anything in advance?
All we got is we started with the letter and advise.
Okay.
Based on.
So, nothing's shown what has changed since.
I had both right here.
For copies for us.
I'm sorry, I only made one copy.
I can get copies.
I can describe or tell you what they are. That's a bit.
We need a work plan of the entire facility showing changes to rooms, what has changed, what is there. There's speakers. That doesn't what we need.
Want them in what copies?
We'll take out.
Of course, the Reverend's not here, but no, he's the one we've been dealing with. Yeah, he's been retained, he had to extend his stay down for it. Okay. So what he's always pointed to, and I'm sure he's expressed to you, is the original letter that they sent to the board for approvals that expressed a whole bunch of stuff at that point in time, and the board ultimately only approved 2 commercial offices for that new, for the expansion. Church activities, the expansion, when it was presented in the plan, showed it as a worship center. We believe, and I don't know whether you believe it or not, but we believe that it's gone well beyond a worship center. With the concerts, the wrestling, the other thing, to talk about opening a restaurant, the barber shop, the fitness center, that it's gone well beyond a church related activities at this point in time. So we have done a couple things. One is kept asking for the last year or so for you guys to come back in with regard to making a application, a further application on the PUD, which is now why we're here. The second thing is your fire inspection and operating permit came back up, and you have not been issued an operating permit except for the activities that are allowed in a residence zone, which are the church-related activities. If you do the commercial offices, you will get an operating permit for those. You have no operating permit for the concerts, you have none for the restaurant, you have none for the barber shop, you have none for the fitness center at this point in time. So all those, as far as the town is concerned at this point in time, are activities outside what you're allowed to do. So now we're here to talk about those. So the town will expect presentations from you with regard to these activities and why they should, the PUD should be amended to include those at this point. The other thing we're going to need besides the letter is we're going to need a update on your site plan to show you parking and how many people are in there. We understand that the parking, and I haven't been over by there, understand that the parking is beyond what availability of parking you have now when you have one of these events. And that you're parking around the things, so that could be an issue. If you don't have enough parking. The other thing is you're gonna have to update your seeker form for this presentation. We'll ask our code enforcement officer to look in the old stuff to get you a copy of the prior seeker form, but you should have that. And you should update it based upon this request at this point in time. We will need that plus site plans so that we can refer it to the county. The county gets a say in this amendment. The first thing is, who are we dealing with? Who is operating that property? It's owned by Journey Church, Inc. It's operated as the L. You have also Journey Center, Inc., I believe. So we're gonna need to know who these groups are. Because we haven't found them. So I don't know if Journey Church, Inc. My belief is Journey Church, Inc. is a name change from the old Glad Tidings. That's right. And Glad Tidings is the operating entity, and you just change the name to Journey Church, Inc. Journey Center, Inc., I believe, is a new corporation. And I don't know where it's incorporated, whether it's incorporated in New York, Delaware, I don't know where it's incorporated. So we'll expect you to tell us that if Journey Center, Inc. has anything to do with the property. I don't know if they do or not. They do. Okay. And what is the L? It's just a name.
It's just a name that was given to a portion of the building because it's shaped like an L.
Okay, so is the L operating under Journey Church, Inc.? Is as an assumed name, or is it operating under Journey Center, Inc. as an assumed name? Have you filed it properly as an assumed name?
No, because it is not a legal entity, it is simply part of the property.
But you advertise it, right? And you advertise it for your concerts, the L Presents. So you're operating it somehow, so it should be, the name should be out there, so. Unfortunately, the reason that you file those is so that if anybody needs to sue you, they know who they're suing. That's why assumed names are filed with the state of New York under the corporations. The barber shop, is that the church running it, or is that a lease?
Well, there is no lease, it's one of our pastors who funds that.
And he gives haircuts,
Yes,
collects money,
yes.
keeps the money. Okay. That is part of our deal here. That's a commercial activity that's not approved, so that will have to be part of your presentation as to where it's located in the building, how much parking it takes up during the day, and that type of thing, and when it's open, so that parking will be able to be detailed. The fitness center. I mean, I understand people can buy memberships and be members and come to that. So from our viewpoint, and you guys can obviously, argue that it's not, but this is offered to people outside the parish, I assume.
Yeah, there's no restrictions as far as.
Okay, so from our viewpoint, that is again another commercial activity, professional activity that was not approved for the project. So you'll have to give us information on that as to location and amount of parking that's required, the hours of operation, those type of things. We'll need those. This restaurant, what is this? Other than anecdotal stuff online, with regard to the harvest, something that comes out of what, New Jersey or something? What is that?
It really, it's an own LLC, but it actively supports the church. It really is there during events, to offer food. So it's not strictly just concerts, but it's something that goes to support the church.
Okay, and who owns it?
Scott owns it.
Scott owns it? Okay, does that serve, is that the, what serves the alcohol at the concerts and stuff?
I that I don't know.
Okay. We understand that you've had numerous one-day permits for the concerts. Right, and that alcohol has been served. Beer, wine, whatever it happens to be. Typically, you're allowed 4 of those permits a year. We have sort of gotten information that you had a lot more than 4 a year. And that perhaps at every concert, you are selling beer and wine at this point in time with a permit. What you should know is that at the last meeting, the town board passed a resolution to advise the ABC board that the town has never given permission for more than 4 permits to be issued to the church, to the L, to the whoever it happens to be at 116 Breezeport Road. And basically, we also said in that resolution that nobody in the town has been given permission. So other places who might be looking for one-day permits and more than 4 should not, we not going to give permission for them to do that.
We're not going to serve alcohol.
Okay. If you desire to, and you get to your 4 limit, you would have to come to the town board, make application for that separate thing. Just so you know.
It's also tax service.
Tax service, so we'll need to know about that too, but that might come under the approval of the commercial professional office, yeah. If it's
That's why we need to know.
if it's licensed, yeah, yes. So we'll need that. I'm assuming you want to continue these concerts. And don't you have one tomorrow night or something?
Yeah, that's, yes.
Okay, all right. We are withholding enforcement against the concerts because you made the application. Okay? We have over 95 complaints about noise from your concerts. Some of the people are here attending. What I want you to know is that we are not going to withhold enforcement on the noise. We've brought those to court and we're going to continue to look at those at this point in time. We have started looking for, to advise this board, we started looking for an acoustical engineer to determine what can be done with regard to the noise at this point in time. Go ahead.
So we did hire an engineer to design these cabinets. They have various thicknesses of the material, different materials. There's sand in there. And this is just the first phase, and if this doesn't work, there's a second phase that's designed. Again, different. So we have plans to mitigate any issues.
We understand that, and I know that code enforcement officers discussed that, but to advise this board, we're going to bring in our own at this point.
Would it be advantageous for us to provide plans?
Yes, it would, and and your experts' opinions with regard, from what I understand. And I know nothing about what I'm talking about, I'm just gonna say words, okay? That's, it's frequency and oscillation. That's what causing most of the problem outside at this point in time. I mean, I assume if decibels get to a certain level, it'll be a big problem, but it's the car driving down in front of my house at 3 a.m. with the woofer in the trunk. Right. Is the problem.
So our engineer would review what you've done and see if they agree or disagree.
Okay.
They might have their own recommendations. Information that we can collect.
We'll need your seeker form updated and get that in as soon as you can.
Okay, now, we'll have all this information from the minutes, correct?
Yes, yeah, well, yeah, she'll get,
You're saying things I have no idea.
I understand, yeah.
Provide them with our town board's secret or two also.
So Greg's listening in too, so he'll aid in that. So we'll have that. Then the other thing is, if I think for your concerts, your seating arrangements are done for the various different setups that you have. And that we're called before they're arranged so that we can make sure they're approved, and that's a safety issue at this point in time. It's not an approval issue. We're not approving what you're doing. We're just trying to make sure that the people who go are safe at that point in time. Again, anecdotally, I've heard that your parking isn't sufficient and that you're parking cars off-site, off the church property, or no?
If you say so, I have no.
See, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah.
say,
We have one concert that I know of, where we have off-site parking. We received approval from Ridgecrest School to utilize their parking lot, and we bus people from there to the concert site.
okay.
That's the only time we've ever used off-site parking.
Now, the house next to the church owns, correct?
No,
There's a house right next to the church?
No.
Okay,
that's, I think Tom Saginario.
okay, all right. Okay, has that property been used for parking that you know of?
No, in fact, we have a boundary line that we have established to make sure that, because
Stay away, okay, very good, very good. We'll need a narrative with regard to your request. One of the opinions that we received from the church's attorney when they were using the attorneys out of Dallas was that, I hate to say it this way, but I'm gonna say it this way because it's just easier. That the church can do whatever it wants because it spends the money on church activities. I've got case law that says, no, the church can't do whatever it wants just because it spends the money. So we can battle the case law on that forever at this point in time, but we will be looking to see that the physical parts of everything will work. If the board decides to recommend to the town board that the PUD expend in the big issue is the concerts, let's put it that way. All the other stuff will probably fit in fairly well. The big issue is the concerts and that, I'm assuming that when the application was made for this originally, and it came in and says worship center, that concerts, the way you're throwing them, were never anticipated.
Not to the degree.
The site plan around code enforcement officer showed seating for the church.
Well, for worship,
Worship, yeah.
yeah. So I'm assuming that, that this has just gained a life of its own. I don't know how or why and I'm not gonna ask you even if you agree with it, but it has gained a life of its own at this point in time. So you're gonna have to talk, this board is gonna make an eventual recommendation to the town board, who makes the final, approval, why they should approve this type of venue. So you got the concert venue, you advertise for weddings all over the place. I mean, from what I've seen and followed up on, and then what concerts I include the wrestling and.
Churches have done weddings.
Yeah, but usually it's church, usually it's people related to the church are not advertising and
Well, churches get requests for weddings from everybody, not just church.
Yeah.
members.
you guys justify it to the extent that you're doing it. Now, media has changed the world at this point in time. So the websites, the media, the hashtags, the this for weddings has changed that to this point. So we're gonna, this board again will make a recommendation. You may want to talk about that at this point. Yes, the board,
Board members, we got board members here. On the code book, we're under section 204 and there's only article 14. Which is planning and development and section 204-85. So you can read up before the next meeting on PUD regulations. Also, article 20 is about amending the PUD zoning. And that's 204, section 123 of our zoning. Just remembers aware.
at the town board level, once it gets there, there'll be a public hearing held. Notify all the neighbors. And before the town board, before the town board will make a decision. With regard to the amendment, they will have, the public hearing, they will have recommendation from the county planning board. And recommendation from this board at that point in time. To deal with. So I'd be very proactive in getting information in.
But just when we're clarification. Going back to second one of the narrative.
You guys should provide a narrative, of what you're using it for. Okay, and like we say, the fitness center, the barber shop, the this, the concerts. The narrative that you span with the concerts. That is. Frankly, had we dealt with this to begin with, we probably wouldn't have ever gotten to this point, because I don't think we would have ever anticipated that. I mean, again, when I look at the concert advertisements, I see production companies. One I looked up was out of Buffalo, who brought something down here. I mean, I don't know who's doing all this at this point in time. It just doesn't sound like you guys are doing it. It sounds like somebody else is doing
Renting the space and running the.
it. Yeah. That's true.
Like the barbershop and all that. Is Journey Church the ones that's sponsoring or soliciting these concerts, or is it somebody coming in and using your facility to do that? I think that would fall under the same kind of category as, say, even just the barbershop type of thing.
Well, I think the question would be is if the church is not the sponsor, somebody's coming in and saying, look, we'll pay you 10 grand, use your place for this night or this weekend. Then that's a rent. That's not a church sponsorship. So we've got to know how it operates. Because it all falls back on the fact that you're in a residential zone. And you are a permitted use in the residential zone as a church. But the residential zone doesn't permit everything. Questions? I've talked enough. I like to talk. That's okay.
Well, I appreciate that, obviously. I don't have a lot of answers,
Right.
but, we will be making changes. To what's been currently been going on. It will not continue as it has. You ask questions that I don't have answers to, in fact, that I don't have answers to.
You guys are in progress too.
Exactly. I should have answers, but I don't have.
Right. I'm sorry. No, okay, well, that's good to hear, and that's where the narrative will come in.
Right.
Back, and you know, the way your operation is, people. Yes, I don't, yeah,
So board members.
I don't envy.
So board members on the PUD, on your own background. You can follow the zoning regulations to a T, or you can be more restrictive or less restrictive, depending on. What it entails, so say parking. Parking might meet requirements for the church. But all of a sudden now we're doing something else there. And our PUD would allow us to be more restrictive and require them to have more parking on site. So. Things like that, we can control the PUD.
An example, and I don't know, it's a good example, but PUD. Walmart is a PUD, that whole area, we operate as PUD. So when Walmart came in, and then the town requires 10 by 20 parking spaces. Now, think of Walmart with the number of parking spaces, they have 10 by 20, it would take I think it'd take another 2 acres.
Yeah.
Of parking to do the number of spaces they wanted, so over there, because of it being PUD, we have flexibility. We came down to 8 by 9, I think, or
They
something.
were 9.5 by 18.
Okay. So we came down so that. You just don't, I mean, obviously. They're Christmas spaces, you know, they fill up on Christmas time.
So those are the things we can look at, things like that, as we might also make recommendations on seeker. And require, as the town board to look at, this or this that. Might be on, not a lower or no impact, it might be a moderate impact, we need more information on it. From the seeker, new members, seeker is a whole different thing, environmental review act. And the state makes us do it on all projects, most all projects. Make sure we address all the environmental concerns, whether it's water, noise, parking. Done it through seekers, part two, so might be a good idea to. I know we made some extra copies of this part two seekers. And before you go tonight, grab a couple that way, look at them, so.
On parking defined whether it's like an asphalt or
It's gotta be,
it'd be grass,
no, it can be paved or as paved or gravel.
so it can't be for like a temporary grass.
No, under stormwater regs, there are ways to put that honeycomb stuff down with stone and get some grass going on there.
Right, yeah.
Probably accept something like that. It's a PUD,
We probably could under the PUD, or we could get the amount of parking that they have to have, and then have. Use that
Overflow.
as overflow, yeah.
Okay.
You see that down south a lot, you see all of a sudden they've got a big parking lot, but it's grass and it's that honeycomb plastic and probably seen that before with it.
Yeah.
Stone in it, you let it grass over, it's how. You do that a lot for fire lanes, fire trucks can drive over it and make access to around the buildings. It's different type of things like that, but so.
Actually, we're in a parking.
So. Neighbors. Welcome. If you have any questions or concerns tonight you'd like to address? That you have people.
So until they bring the paperwork to the next meeting, they're gonna have more comments, right?
I said, because they made an application, we are withholding any action on the items that they're making an application for. As far as the noise applications, the noise complaints, we're gonna tell the court that we're gonna follow through on those. The reason being, this board, the town board could approve them to continue to have concerts, and noise may still be an issue in the long run. So that is not a part of the overall application. So we will move forward on those.
Do we put the information on our website for all the, see if they gave paperwork? Do we put that on the website before? And people can see it, I'm sure they'd like to do before they walk in here. And what is that?
Do that, sure.
We used to put new projects on the website for
And that way, you're not coming in here with a bunch of papers, you get on our website and look at it and read it, and that way you got questions highlighted or whatever, or you might say yay or nay, or, just to give you a better idea what's going on when you walk in here.
Probably the guy to look at is up there, whether we can get it. Greg, make sure we can get stuff on the website that's coming in.
Everything has got to be in 10 days before the meeting. We use
Yeah, I think
Monday
that's a good,
before the meeting. Or
yeah, I think that's a really good idea. We can get that stuff on the website pretty easy, no problem.
so our planning board meetings are on Wednesday. Then not the Monday before, but the Monday before that, all the stuff was due. And I'm not working, I come in and do agenda review, and then we put it out by Wednesday. So if you have a whole week to look at it, we can get it on there for you.
Yeah.
You can see it, so. We do that.
Yeah.
Right, that way, 10 days, everything gets in beforehand, get the agenda done and get it out so everybody can see it.
So when is the next meeting?
It's first Wednesday of the month, yeah. So as soon as you can get in with this, the updated seeker. And then I don't know who did your original site plan,
Vegas,
but you're gonna wanna have them probably look at it again.
Okay.
To make sure that you're where you should be.
so the next meeting is September 6th. Everything would have to be in by the 28th of August.
Yeah.
So you've got a good 3.5 weeks, those 4 weeks to get it done.
Well, I gotta be able to get a copy of these units so that I can.
Yeah, as soon as she finishes, puts these together.
I wanna miss anything.
Yeah.
Would you write down your email for me?
Sure.
On the sign-in sheet, just put your email and I'll send it to you. Okay,
In fact, I'll give you two.
All right. okay.
So I have a couple of questions. These are subwoofers, okay? And these are two separate cabins on
Yes.
either side of the stage.
Yes.
Okay, so the stage faces in the building towards the road, I would imagine,
Yes.
okay? So if
Pretty much. I don't think it's exactly 90 degrees, but that's the general
So
direction.
these would be facing towards the road, so the sound travels towards the road. And the neighbors are behind you and,
My understanding is that it's behind us and then. If you are heading towards Breezeport. But obviously they know, but my understanding, heading towards Breezeport, there's several houses in that area. They're the ones that are primarily impacted.
you know, what the wattage is of these? Can you find that out?
Absolutely, I can get all that information.
And would it make sense if behind the stage, you put sound walls, which would at least block the sound, because you're projecting out.
Now, there is a backing to those cabinets.
I think you need behind the stage, you still have the drums, you still have the guitars. So you need, I think behind the stage, it's something that would help the neighbors. All right, because it's found. I just a thought.
Yeah, I,
So if your acoustic guy can look into that, I think that would help. You
There's
know,
specific things under the building code that would. Limit, they have to be designed for that, that it can't be, non-fire rated. You know, it's gotta be designed for what it's intended for.
Yeah, no.
So,
And these are new?
yes, the one that is, closest or furthest from the most. The closest outside wall, was just completed. Well, it's not, there is a top that goes on top of it that. There, it was on there, it's not on there on those pictures, I think they took them off to put the additional foam and then also to paint them. And they're gonna reinstall them,
My question would be, will they be done tomorrow for tomorrow's concert?
I believe so,
Okay,
that's,
I mean, just
that's my understanding,
for something for the people in the area.
right? We're hoping
Good job.
we're hoping that will be a noticeable. Mitigation, and so that,
Right,
there's cabinets going on top of it. Which is.
no, it's just the top and
That's
that's,
the whole system.
it's the whole system, it encloses everything so that sound only goes forward. And according to the audio engineer that we had who designed these, that would be, should be sufficient, but if it's not, there's a second phase that we could do. At least that's what I've been told.
there's more possibility.
Yeah, there's more possibilities for
So
mitigation.
the thing to do is see what the reaction.
Yeah, that's what we were,
Have you guys ever taken decibel readings?
yes, we do that all the time.
And what's the decibel reading?
It, according to the readings that I've seen, it's like a quiet street. But we understand, it's the low end,
That's the problem.
it's the low end frequency that, like you said, the oscillations that are the issue, and that's what we fired the audio engineer to try to fix.
And then, what's the capacity for the concert? How many people?
Again, you should have that answer, I don't have that answer, I'm kind of walking in. Yeah.
Different than the seating for the church.
And Greg can tell you what the
Yeah,
difference.
there's I think they have 5 seating. Yeah, they do have the 5 different seating setups. From standing room only to tables and chairs, to just chairs, and it ranges from about 1,000 down to 500 when you do the math, as far as occupant load goes. And before they have an event, they email our office and let us know what seating arrangement they're going to use, so we know how many people should be there.
That also includes everybody that's running the facility and everything like that at that time.
Right, and they did go. We forced them to do crowd manager training, so they do have the required amount of crowd managers that are on site each time. But yes, that does include the security and the crowd manager.
What goes up from there? If it's outside, start you.
I think we can sell the product. You can't sell 1,000 tickets if you want 10 people. You only sell 999 or 990.
The occupancy is based on the net border area. They'll take out the stage. They'll take out like the area for food, it was that net area.
Right, yeah. Yep, exactly.
So
The
you
stage,
Considers this
No,
no.
yeah, the stage has its own occupant load, and then you take square footage.
it's not seen.
Yep, of the space left, and then the code book gives you an equation to use to calculate occupant load. And it changes with tables and chairs, and standing room only. So it took some time to sort all that out, but we got it now finally, because again, the original plans say worship center, and you had an occupant load set for, chairs bolted to the floor, which obviously that didn't happen. So we had to sort all that out.
As the sound, one thing as a sound engineer, building itself might be a soundboard for the music there also. So anything you put on the walls as long as they meet building code and fire code playing help also with that.
Yeah, that's a good point, Tom. I have had a initial conversation with Mr. Lowmaster about the need to probably not only use a sound engineer, but get the original structural engineer involved to make sure that if they do something with the walls, it is up to code, and then that we can review it. Yeah, so.
This the building itself could be a fire.
Yeah, but like you saying, if there's anything to do the wall, through the back the structure of the building, and that's why you need that.
Well, that actually,
Just start calling it near.
It is a steel building.
Yeah, but
I don't.
even then,
Low bearing.
no, but we're just talking about, yeah, but we're just talking about the finishes itself, how much you start. There's been some major loss of life on the people in fires that put the wrong stuff on the walls and they had a fire at concert venues. So we gotta make sure the stuff, and they make that stuff all done. You walk into a restaurant or you see these panels on the ceiling, the walls. And well, decorated, but they're sound absorbers. They're typical. So there's no take your phone load and put those on the walls because that's not gonna work. But all good stuff. Your engineer. Does good. And ours will look at it. Put together some. And we
No, I really not trying to hear.
Okay.
Contact Memphis 110,
So if he's got anything, if you could get that into us, that way, even before the 10 days, that way we can get it to him. So,
I will see what we have and get it to you.
Greg, you have some of that, right? For the
Yeah,
sound,
Yes, yes, Scott was keeping me posted on the information from their sound engineer, so I do have a lot of that information. Yeah.
maybe you're home, just send them what we got. And then if it's any updates, we can tell us too.
Okay,
In fact, I'll see if I can find what we have, because he may not have everything that we have, just to confirm stuff.
Or just, you know,
Okay.
Yeah, anything else for them? Questions?
Yeah, I see, Chance Sustalo is online. He's one of the people that we talked about earlier before the meeting concerning Biltmore. And he didn't hear what we had to say about it.
No, it wasn't on the agenda.
Okay. I can tell him what we discussed if you want. Okay.
Maybe you got the right paperwork. No, sorry. This that you have to.
Yeah.
What? Sorry. Whatever you were saying, it's just a little choppy. I couldn't hear what you said. One of the speakers, when you talk, it's very clear, but then one of the other speakers, it's choppy. I thought you said something about a site plan.
They didn't present us with a proper site plan. We don't even know what you're doing up there. So we gotta. It's already being built, so it should have been referred months ago. It hasn't. Incomplete application or not, or we don't know what they're doing. They didn't provide us the proper information. So it wasn't on our agenda.
If you like, I can take more time with him. I mean, I live in the neighborhood too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can take more time with you, off-site or offline. I live I live over on Bradley Court.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I've talked to other neighbors, so, I have multiple. It's great. If you can talk to me offline, that'd be fantastic.
For info from Joe Brennan.
Yeah, yeah, we've been talking a little bit too, so I appreciate it. You're doing a great job. Thank you so much. So I'll message you my number in the inbox.
Okay.
Okay.
What am I gonna do? Yeah, and they would have known about it, saying the same day we're supposed to do this. We see what's going on. There's something to ask, yeah, we can plans.
I think before I get off, if I can just kind of say a couple things about it and you can have that for discussion if you like. Is that okay?
Go ahead, sure.
Okay, so I work for Corning, and when we want to build something, and I know this is a separate entity, but when we want to build something, if we attempted to use a residential road to build, it would never happen. And my understanding from talking to code is that there was an ordinance in 1988 that when Bethany Village bought the 2 lots at the beginning of the properties, which was known as the Briar Patch, they had it written in there that they would have access to the road if they ever decided to use it. Things have changed quite a bit over 35 years. There's children and cars. And
So there, I was code enforcement back in '92, and I believe it was any work done up there when Apple Ridge was built, that it was going to be used for emergency purposes only. I believe
okay,
the home board approved that they wouldn't allow the road to be paved or connected. That was supposed to be an emergency use only out there.
okay. So it sounds like the town is pretty much mirrored a lot of our concerns. So that's great. I put my number in the direct message, and I look forward to talking to you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Institution.
Well, we can get the highway up there and dig a big hole right in front of the lot. Right? We have, it's like Chicago, just dig a hole.
Don't we need an inspection ditch for that new gas line that's running through
That's
there?
probably what
I
we
think
need.
That's what.
Board member, anything else? So I'll be here next month, but not there.
Setting up the agenda for the October meeting or no?
I can, yeah, but what, if I'm working, I'll just, I can just email her, she goes to bed.
Okay.
And we'll get to that.
You can call it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but you can't vote.
I can call in, but I'm in the middle of fire around once I teach. That's.
Yeah.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion second. So as soon as we stop, get on the website.